You've seen soldiers in powered exoskeletons leap over buildings and crush alien invaders. The exosuit from All You Need Is Kill turns ordinary troops into superhuman warriors. But here's the problem. The suit doesn't protect you from the one force that matters most. And soldiers don't even realize it's killing them until it's too late. The suit gives you strength, but it can't protect you from the G-forces that come with it. Every jump, every sprint, every sudden stop generates acceleration forces that your internal organs simply can't survive. We're going to break down 3 physics problems the story ignores: the deadly acceleration forces, the biological impossibility of injury recovery across time loops, and the staggering energy cost of resetting timelines. By the end, you'll understand why these suits aren't just dangerous. They're death traps. The exosuit allows soldiers to jump 20 feet vertically and sprint at vehicle speeds. That sounds impressive until you calculate what those movements actually do to the human body inside. That force is G-forces, specifically the acceleration generated by every jump, sprint, and sudden stop. Human tolerance for G-forces has clear limits. Sustained exposure to 5G causes blackouts as blood drains from your brain. At 10G, your organs start to suffer damage. Beyond 20 Gs, death becomes likely. These aren't theoretical numbers. They're based on decades of data from fighter pilots, crash test studies, and aerospace medicine. Felix Baumgartner experienced this during his 2012 Red Bull Stratos jump. When he broke the sound barrier in freefall, his body briefly endured forces approaching 3.5 G. That's relatively mild compared to what the exosuit generates. The exosuit routinely generates 3 to 6 times that force. If you've ever wondered why Hollywood gets the physics wrong, hit subscribe. We break down the science behind your favorite sci-fi every week. Let's calculate what the exosuit actually generates. A 10-foot vertical jump requires roughly 3 to 4 Gs of acceleration over about 0.2 of a second. That's the force needed to propel a 200-pound soldier, plus the suit's metal frame upward against gravity. For a brief moment, that's survivable. But the suit doesn't make one jump. It makes dozens, and jumping is just the beginning. The real danger comes from deceleration. When you land from that 10-foot jump, the suit's legs absorb the impact through hydraulics and metal joints. The suit stops instantly. Your body doesn't. And that's where the killing starts. This is exactly what happens in high-speed car crashes. When a vehicle hits a wall at 60 miles per hour, the car stops instantly. But the driver's body keeps moving forward until the seatbelt catches them. The exosuit has no seatbelt equivalent, no airbag, no crumple zone. Just metal stopping instantly while your organs keep going. Stopping from a 40-mile-per-hour sprint in just 2 steps would generate between 15 and 20 G. Fighter pilots can handle 9 G because their G-suits compress blood flow and prevent blackouts. But a G-suit doesn't stop your organs from shifting. It doesn't prevent your brain from slamming into the inside of your skull. The exosuit has no internal dampening system. There's no cushioning layer between you and the metal frame. Every movement the suit makes transfers directly into your body. The suit makes you strong enough to destroy yourself. You could punch through concrete, but the recoil force would shatter your arm bones. You could sprint faster than a car, but the sudden stop would rupture your aorta. The exosuit gives soldiers the power to move like superhumans without giving them superhuman bodies to survive it. Even if you survived one battle, the cumulative damage would be catastrophic. Repeated concussions cause chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Repeated high G exposure causes cardiovascular damage. Your body doesn't reset between missions. But here's what that actually looks like in a human life. Muhammad Ali's career shows what repeated head trauma does over time. He took thousands of punches across decades of boxing. Each individual hit seemed survivable. He walked away from every fight. But the cumulative damage destroyed his brain. By his 40s, he showed clear signs of Parkinson's syndrome and cognitive decline. By his 60s, he could barely speak. The damage accumulated invisibly until it became irreversible. An exosuit soldier experiences comparable trauma in every battle. Multiple high G impacts, repeated deceleration forces, constant jarring stops. Even if they survive each individual mission, the cumulative cost would be devastating. Which brings us to the next problem. The time loop treats biology like a save file, and that's not how biology works. The time loop in All You Need Is Kill resets Keiji Kiriya's body to the start of each day. Every injury heals, every death reverses. The story treats this as a given, but physics doesn't explain how that's possible. The loop preserves muscle memory. Keiji gets better at fighting because his brain retains learned skills across iterations. That part makes sense. Memory is encoded in neural pathways, and if those pathways persist, so does the skill. But the story ignores the physical cost. Actual tissue damage should accumulate even if each loop resets the visible injuries. Consider what happens in real biology. Repeated concussions cause chronic traumatic encephalopathy even after each individual concussion appears to heal. Your brain doesn't fully reset. Scar tissue forms. Neurons die. The damage compounds over time. Athletes who suffer multiple concussions don't wake up one day with a pristine brain. The trauma accumulates at a cellular level. Keiji dies violently in nearly every loop. He's crushed, burned, shot, and torn apart by mimics. Each death involves catastrophic trauma, shattered bones, ruptured organs, massive blood loss. You can't reverse entropy without an enormous energy input, and we'll get to that problem in a moment. Even if the loop resets his body, the psychological damage remains. The novel acknowledges Keiji's mounting trauma, but it treats his body like a save file in a video game. Load the save, and everything's fine. Biology doesn't work that way. Stress hormones like cortisol cause long-term changes to your endocrine system. Chronic stress rewires your brain's fear response. Even if your body resets, the chemical changes from repeated trauma should persist. The loop also ignores recovery time. Muscles need rest to repair micro-tears from intense exercise. Bones need weeks to heal fractures. Keiji goes from untrained recruit to elite soldier over the course of hundreds of loops, but his body never gets a chance to adapt. He's constantly operating at peak performance without the biological foundation to support it. Real soldiers train for months to build the strength and endurance needed for combat. Keiji's body should be breaking down, not improving. There's another problem the story glosses over. The loop doesn't just reset Keiji. It resets Rita Vrataski too, at least until she loses her loop ability. That means two separate biological systems are being maintained and reset independently. The energy cost of that alone should be staggering, which brings us to the real impossibility: the physics of the time loop itself. Every loop resets the entire battlefield. The base, the soldiers, the mimics, possibly the entire planet, all of it reverts to a previous state. The mimic's time manipulation ability would require energy equivalent to reversing the state of trillions upon trillions of particles. How much energy would that actually take? Let's think about what resetting actually means. Resetting even one human body to a previous physical state would require reversing the position and momentum of every atom in that body. That's not just moving things, that's undoing entropy, which is the universe's most fundamental one-way process. We're talking about energy on the scale of E equals mc squared, the equation that describes matter-energy equivalence. Rewinding the state of matter requires more energy than a nuclear weapon releases. But here's the paradox. If the mimics had that kind of power, they wouldn't need to fight. They could simply erase humanity by draining a star. This is the least realistic part of the story, but it's also the most necessary for the plot. Without the loop, there's no story. The mechanism doesn't matter, because the story isn't about how the loop works. It's about what Keiji does with it. So, we came here asking one question. Why does the exosuit kill you? The answer isn't that the suit is poorly designed. The answer is that humans aren't built for the forces we're trying to survive. We can engineer strength. We can't engineer physics. That's the real limit, not the technology, but the biology wearing it. That's why the best sci-fi doesn't ignore these problems. It uses them. All you need is kill works because the characters struggle against impossible odds, not despite them. The flaws make the story real. Subscribe for more breakdowns that expose the science behind your favorite sci-fi. And check out how Edge of Tomorrow tackled these same problems. The live-action version takes a completely different approach to the same impossible physics.